I am one of the only certified instructors teaching at the moment to the public. The inventor's still teaching, but he's only doing dealerships at the moment.
Okay.
He gives all the public students to me.
Now, you said you were located in Bakersfield.
Bakersfield, California. Hopefully I might be relocating, but at the moment we're in Bakersfield.
Okay. Now, let me take a peek at a couple of these engines. So you basically, students bring these in and you teach them how to convert these to the GEET process.
Yes, I've had people bring in generators. I've had them bring in air compressors. I have done a SR5 1989 4-cylinder pickup. Here are the pictures for that one. I just let them bring them in and we convert them from scratch. First we teach the theory, why it works, and what we know so far, because there's only so much that we learned about it. Other than that, they won't allow us to put a bunch of stuff in books yet. So.
Well, now from your experiences then, how do the GEET engines perform compared to a conventional engine?
Oh, they convert much smoother. You got much different RPM. You can go as low as, I've gone down to 100 RPMs per minute and not have, you know, anything of any crazy vibrations. I've gone up to, this motor right here is rated to only go 3,000 RPMs. We've gotten up to 7,000 RPMs without blowing it.
And that's just looks like a lawnmower engine,
This is a 3 horsepower Briggs & Stratton.
Okay. So a lot of this then just depends, it's just because of the GEET process, it makes it burn cleaner, or?
Well, what it does is it transmutes the elements to an elemental gas so that then it could burn in cleanly, but also clean your motors up.
Oh, kind of a plasma reaction.
Exactly. They've said that it comes out as a plasma state because it does not condense back into anything.
Oh, okay.
It stays in the plasma. You can actually trap the plasma gas.
So this would lower emissions probably as well.
We guarantee a minimum of 80% reduction in emissions.
Wow.
But there are closed loop systems where you have self-sustaining and zero emissions.
Now, if I remember right, it's been a while since I looked into GEET, but you have the bubbler over here, and one of the things that I liked about the system was, in the demonstrations I've seen in the past, they've mixed gasoline and water.
Yes.
And it'll actually filter that out. Can you tell me a little bit about that, how it could run on different fuels?
Okay, well, for demonstration purposes, and I'll be showing this weekend, is we set up our bubbler so that, and it's glass, so you could see what we put in there. We set up a mixture of 20% gasoline and 80% mixture of soda pop, urine, coffee. Some people use hot sauce, many multiple things. It all depends on how you tune your rod. This is a very crucial part to the fuels that you want to run. And this is just simply the bubbler that'll vaporize the fuel.
Okay.
So there's a vacuum in here, a constant vacuum that will vaporize the fuel or help vaporize the fuel, along with the vortex that's being created with the vacuum. And that's how you mix up your different liquids.
So this might have advantages then also in developing nations, right? Where maybe the gas isn't clean, or
at the moment I am part of a co-op that's going to be going down to Costa Rica, and we're going to be helping them and teaching their school how to run this, because their goal is to go green by 2021, and they don't have no natural resources, so I don't think we should run into much resistance.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you about this engine. This is now this is one of the training engines, right?
This is one of my students' motors. He built it, and he got it to run on 50% gas and 50%, for lack of a better word, let's say coffee. Let's say coffee. And he let me borrow it for the convention. And as you can see, we got a sight glass in here, so you can see what the rod does when you turn it on.
Oh, I see. Obviously, we don't want to run it in the hotel, but yeah.
Right now.
Okay, so the fuel comes out of the bubbler and it's vaporized, goes through the tube. Now this is the reactor, as I recall.
This is the reactor.
This is this pipe.
This is a pipe within a pipe right here.
Oh,
you have your exhaust, then you have your reactor pipe. And inside of the reactor pipe is where your reactor rod is.
And so
this is
the rod
simply the
slides
cooling coil.
right down in here.
The rod is sitting right about here right now. But when you start the motor, the rod will actually levitate and spin where it wants to be.
Okay.
So you got to build the reactor to the proper size to let the rod find its home.
Oh, okay. Okay, so it kind of sets itself. And...
Yes, it has a mind of its own almost.
So, well, it finds the resonance of whatever material that you're building.
Exactly.
The gas.
Well, you got to help it find, depending on, you got to know what you're going to be running first.
Right.
So then you can build your reactor. Because there's different lengths and different setups. You can go horizontal.
So you can't change your materials after you've built it?
Yes, you can, but your efficiency won't be as great as it could be when it's properly tuned. Let's say this one, it's set up where I could just replace the rod and run a different fuel. But my efficiency won't be as great. It'll still be good, but it won't be as great.
What kind of fuels do you typically run with it? Or can you run with it?
I've run crude gas pulled straight out of the ground, crude oil. I've gotten a gas motor to run on diesel with almost no pollution. No kind of misfires or anything like that. Typically what I'm going to be setting up for is crude oil because I got a lot of connections for crude oil. But that would be for me. As far as my students, well, they can come and they tell me what they want to run on.
Yeah, now, typically with diesel, like your spark plugs wouldn't ignite that, but in this case, since it's vaporizing it, it's probably just the heat in the reaction chamber,
right? It's no longer diesel when it comes out here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
it's
whatever you put in here comes out completely different molecular structure. And it's basically what they've been recorded is when you run crude oil, they've gotten helium, oxygen, hydrogen, and many other, or different kinds of...
just all sorts of constituents.
Just elemental gases, actually.
Yeah.
So, then you bring them over here and they burn really good.
Now, with converted cars and stuff, when people convert those, have you when you drive those, how do they typically drive?
Well, the one vehicle that I've converted so far has a really, really smooth idle, and it runs really good. Only problem we had with it was getting the proper vaporization. That's crucial. We were actually giving it a little bit too much fuel using 3 horsepower and a 6 horsepower lawnmower carburetor.
Oh, okay.
Now just imagine that. I mean, you're having these small little carburetors, and that was giving it way too much fuel. So that's kind of the hard part right there.
Interesting. Now, if people want to learn more, if they wanted to get in touch with you, how could they get in touch with you?
They could go to the inventor's website, geetinternational.com, call him up, and he'll let you know where I'll be teaching, etc., etc. Or you can get one of my business cards and flyers, and it has my email and cell phone on there, and you can call me whenever you want.
Great. Okay. Well, thanks again.
Not a problem.